that everybody, Ryan? I mean, Rob? My apologies.
Yes, there's no one in the waiting room.
So my name is Greg Dale. I'm the chair of the Humboldt Bay Harbor Recreation Conservation District Board of Commissioners. And I'd like to welcome you to our February 10th regular session. And you are being recorded. We just started the recording. Larry, would you like to call a roll call?
Yes, Commissioner Marks,
Here.
Commissioner Higgins,
Present.
Commissioner Coleman,
Present.
Commissioner Newman is currently not present, and President Dale.
Here. So I'd like everyone to stand for the pledges of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. So at this time in our agenda is a public comment period and allows the public to speak to the board on various issues not itemized on the agenda. A member of the public may also request that a matter appearing on the consent calendar be pulled and discussed separately. Pursuant to the Brown Act, the board may not take action on any item that does not appear on the agenda. Each speaker is limited to speak for a period of 3 minutes regarding each item on the agenda, and each speaker is limited to speak for 3 minutes during public comment portion of the agenda regarding items of special interest to the public not appearing on the agenda. 3-minute time limit may not be transferred to other speakers, and the 3-minute time limit for each speaker may be extended by the president of the board or the presiding member of the Board of Commissioners at the regular meeting of the district. Callers can raise their hand by pressing 9 and unmute themselves by pressing 6, or you can speak up. So do we have any public comment that would like anyone from the public that would like to speak on items not agendized? I see Scott Grecian raised his hand. Scott, take it away.
Thanks, Craig. And good evening, members of the board. I'm Conservation Director with Friends of the Eel River. And I'm here today just to urge you to act to ensure that coal transshipment facilities can't be built on the harbor, and to do what you can on that front. If you're not aware, the county has finalized its measure yesterday, and I just want to make sure this hasn't come off your urgent agenda, because it remains, I think, a very urgent matter. I think a lot of folks around here, for understandable reasons, are having a hard time taking this really seriously. But the fact remains that if it were to come to pass, it would be as dire a threat as we could face. And you guys are really the last and the most important line of defense on this. And just in view of the passing of time, I would urge you to consider a special session if you think that's appropriate. We're not going to have the luxury of sitting around forever. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Anyone else with comments of items not on the agenda? Seeing none, I'm going to move to the consent calendar.
Greg, before we do that,
Yes.
I just wanted to give the report out of closed session that there was no reportable action taken.
I apologize, Ryan, for that.
No
With
worries.
that, I'll make a motion that we pass the consent calendar.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Larry?
Commissioner Marks,
You might want to go to the public first.
I think prior to the consent calendar, to the motion, we give the public an opportunity to pull something, which I'm not sure if we did. And
No.
if nothing's pulled,
Yeah, we
then I
don't.
think we can just pass without going
Yeah,
to
it
the
doesn't.
public.
Yeah, it doesn't go open.
The agenda gives the instruction that a member of the public may also request that a matter appearing on the consent calendar be pulled and discussed separately. That's part of public comment, so we can move forward.
Stand down, Marks.
Commissioner Marks,
I'm confused now. No, yes, yes,
Commissioner Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Higgins,
Yes.
and President Dale.
Yes. So we're moving on to item 9, communications, reports, and correspondence received. Executive Director.
Okay, I'd like to go ahead and give you a staff report, and I'd like to start with Chris Mickelson, the Director of Facilities Management.
Okay, well, thank you. So we got a nice little shot here of the marina a few nights back, and thought we'd share it with you all. We had some beautiful weather out there. So we had some recent minus tides, some severely minus tides. You can see in this photograph, these are what we call the aught slips, or the inboard slips just adjacent the Embarcadero. But these minus tides wreaked havoc on our real estate here.
Can you go full screen? Can you go full screen, Chris? Thank you.
Did you hear that, Larry? Oh, there we go. In the lower left-hand corner at the end of the gangway, you can probably see that the dock is dropped to the far left-hand side. So we broke weldments and whalers and had to bring staff out to do those. In the next slide, we have a picture of some weldment repairs that were going in place. Fortunately, we have Scott Fuller who can, just turn this stuff around real quick for us and get out there. But we're probably spent about a week now on IDOC. Some of these are older weldments that were just failing, but others are new damage created from these low tides, and it's pretty significant. So we're going to continue on that process. This morning we went out for our second sampling event. As a matter of fact, the crew's out on the water right now doing the evening run. So this will be our second sampling event for our larva survey, or larvae survey rather. And then, as you probably know, you authorized us to sign or the executive director to sign an application for a grant through the California Clean Grant Partnership. And we're doing this in partnership with Redwood Community Action Agency. And a lot of this will be based on the Samoa Peninsula. We're showing you in this particular part, this is right across from the Redwood Marine Terminal 2. You can see there, and I happen to know what these are, but this is an aerial view. But there's at this particular day, there were 2 trailer camps, 2 tent campsites, 8 automobiles. And this is an area that is not actual beach access. And certainly we're to park on the sides of the road, not drive out into the dunes. And unfortunately, this recreation, including doing a great deal of damage to the dunes, is also leaving an unbelievable amount of trash. The next slide is just a bit farther down, and this is at the Humboldt Bay Municipal 1 million gallon freshwater tank. And again, we had a trailer camp, 1 campsite, 9 automobiles. I took these, I borrowed these from the internet, but I've got countless photographs of these, both from up above and down on the ground. These are weekly occurrences. We're very excited to participate in this. We're very hopeful that we'll be recipients of this grant. The grant will cover a large swath of the peninsula. It won't be just Harbor District properties. These are some extreme problem areas that we wanted to highlight. And I believe that's my last slide. I'm going to go help Aaron get signed on. Thank you.
Rob, you're next up.
Yep, thanks. So I think I have another title slide. Yep, there you go. So I've got, I think, 6, 7 items here. Samoa Peninsula Wastewater Project went before the Board of Supervisors last week, the week before, and passed unanimously. It has one more time before the Board of Supervisors before that is adopted. But that expands the area to include harbor properties as well as other properties throughout the peninsula. So that's a great project and proceeding positively. The Bureau of Ocean Energy Management a couple of weeks ago had a series of public hearings, 2 of them, about their NEPA, which is the federal equivalent of CEQA, environmental assessment, which is the equivalent of a mitigated negative declaration for CEQA. Regarding lease areas, the Humboldt wind energy area and they've merged that environmental assessment with the Morro Bay area. So captured just 2 slides that I think are of interest here. This one's an overall schedule of time, and those numbers within the colored blocks are years. They are just about to finish their environmental assessment, and then at the end of this calendar year, they're saying fall is when they
Want your
will
video on or
grant
off?
the leases. And then the next slide will show you that the Humboldt Bay area is further along than the Morro Bay, but they've decided to merge the 2 into a single document. And so they are, I'm gonna mute Chris while he settles in. They're catching Morro Bay up to Humboldt Bay and merging the process together. So that's all good, positive news. Everything is on track with that. The next one is Baywater intake permits. So we have ongoing communications with agencies. Everything's proceeding as planned. And be aware that the Nordic EIR comment period closes in just 6, 7 days, 8 days. So on February 18th, the comment period closes for the Nordic EIR. We are looking at a number of grant opportunities in addition to the PDIP. One opportunity that has arisen is the RAISE grant, which is Rebuilding American Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity. There are a number of infrastructure related grants, as you would imagine, with the passing of the recent federal bill. And so we're evaluating this one currently, as well as a number of others. So you'll see reports about those in the coming months. The Energy Commission and our $10.4 million allocation, we've had ongoing communications with CEC staff. Everything's positive. And our contract is scheduled to go before the CEC business meeting on March 9th, which is great news. Samoa Lagoons, we have ongoing communications with regulatory agencies on allowing dewatering at that site, and we're in the process of coming up with an approval strategy and shooting for the end of this year to have that whole process complete. I think it's realistic and ambitious, but things are going positive there. And then finally, Natural Resource Coordinator, we have received a number of applications and we are conducting interviews next week.
So I will take it over from here. I wanted to let you know that there's a number of activities on the governor's budget side that's dealing with ports that we are actively working on with our partners at the California Association of Port Authorities, which I'm a member. The executive directors of the port meet regularly, and next week there's a ports day, and we're meeting with the whole day of meeting with the lieutenant governor and a whole host of legislators from every one of the major ports, and including Jim Woods will be representing us in Humboldt Bay during that ports day. The governor's preliminary budget included $45 million to assist ports to get ready for the offshore wind industry. And again, this is in the preliminary budget, and this is in addition to the $10.45 million that Rob announced that we're getting funded under the previous year. And so in 2 weeks, the California Association of Port Authorities in Humboldt I'm actively participating in those where we're developing the strategy of how us as ports are going to recommend allocating those resources. And obviously Humboldt Bay is the farthest along. And so we have our plans set on to try to get some of those additional resources, the $45 million. In addition, in the governor's budget, they announced that there's $1.2 billion in the governor's preliminary budget that's outlined for port infrastructure. As you know, there's a major shipping crisis and transportation crisis, and the governor and the legislature are allocating $1.2 billion for ports. What they're proposing to do is to have 70% of that $1.2 billion that would go directly to the LA area to deal with the massive congestion that everybody's aware of, the container ports in Southern California. So approximately 70% of the $1.2 billion. And then the other 30% would be available for the other ports. And so we're actively working with the other ports and looking at developing the allocation and really working with the legislature to try to make sure that we can get access to some of those port funds. To put this in context, just the 30% of funds, if this gets approved through the legislature, would be more funding than the entire port infrastructure development program last year. And the intention of the governor's office is to, again, to try to use that as leverage funds for some of this port infrastructure development program and some of the other infrastructure funds that the federal government is putting into play. And so I just wanted to make you aware that we're actively working on this legislative side. We're working with our partners at CAPA to do that. As Chris had mentioned in his slide, is that we had some minus tides, and it was a real eye opener. This is Woodley Island Marina, and this is G-Dock, and you can see the standing water and the boats sitting in the mud. I'm just going to go through a few slides. This is the fairway. I have never seen it like this myself, and I think I wanted all the board and the community to see the condition of Woodley Island, because it is a real eye opener when you see this kind of condition of Woodley Island Marina. And here you can physically see where the boats are dragging themselves through the mud as they're trying to get in and out of the port. These are the verbal things that we see. And a lot of times when it's under the water, you don't recognize it. But when we get to these negative tides, you can actively see exactly what is happening out there in Woodley Island in certain of the fairways right now. And so I wanted to really sort of pinpoint some of these things and to see what the direct impact are on our fishing boats. And so Commissioner Newman and Commissioner Higgins and I met this morning as the Dredge Subcommittee and are actively getting re-engaged into our dredge strategy because this is some serious conditions that we're in, and we're really committed to try to addressing these concerns. We've been meeting with the Army Corps of Engineers, and they released their FY22 dredging plan. And so this is really for all of California and the dredge schedule. And so I'm just going to kind of hone in here on Humboldt Bay. And so in Humboldt Bay, what the plan is, the bar and entrance, the plan is basically in June or July time period, is they're planning to take approximately 1.1 million cubic yards out of the entrance. And this is going to be part of the West Coast hopper contract that will occur. In other words, the private contractor, not necessarily using the Army Corps of Engineers dredge. And then the Humboldt inner channels, we're looking in the April-May time period of bringing in the Uquina to do approximately 150,000 cubic yards of material out of the inner channel. And so I want to meet with the bar pilots and other interested maritime community to really pinpoint which are the areas in Humboldt Bay that we want to the Army Corps of Engineers to target. As you recall, we previously had them target the area in front of Woodley Island Marina, the Eureka Slough area. And so this is all part of this improving our active communication, and the Army Corps has been responding to us, and we have a great relationship with the Army Corps of Engineers. And one example of that I really wanted to point out is just last week, they released the most recent surveys, and David Snyder had said, look, in the surveys that they do of the entire Humboldt Bay, for some reason, the area right in front of his dock was not included in the survey sheets that they put in. I contacted them, and within 6 hours, literally within 6 hours, they had corrected it, sent us brand new survey sheets that included that area, and then uploaded them to the website. Really all the work, and Commissioner Dale and the other people on this board know that this was a major priority for the Harbor District to really improve the coordination and the communication with the Army Corps of Engineers. And I really think those efforts have been paying off in spades. And so we really have to keep this up because we need the Army Corps of Engineers, and they are our partner. And so With that, I just want, that's our staff report, and I don't know if the district attorney has anything he would like to add.
No report from district council. Thanks, Larry.
Larry, I have one more quick thing. The Samoa Peninsula EIFD, I forgot to mention, has passed before the Board of Supervisors twice and is going before them again on February 15th for adoption of their financing plan. And then the final time that it goes before the board, before it is approved, is in early March. So that's before your next board meeting. So that is also heading in a really positive direction.
And I am not sure if Mark Witzel, our district accountant, is here.
I don't see him on the list.
Okay, then that's
So I'm
all.
assuming- That's it?
Yes.
Commissioner and committee reports. Let's start with Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you. It's kind of nice when we sit back and watch you lead the meeting for a change.
Or not, yeah.
But yeah, no, you're doing a great job, and I appreciate it. Not much to report, but I do want to report out that I have been in communication pretty regularly over the past month with the executive director and also with our attorney regarding an ordinance about coal terminals on the bay. And I was hoping that we would have had something on the agenda for tonight, but for various reasons that didn't work out. But want to reassure the public, anyone who's listening, that I am still very actively pursuing that, and the district is actively pursuing that in whatever the best manner forward is. And so just want to clearly state that in open session that that's still a very high priority, and hopefully we'll have something on a future agenda very soon here.
And I'll commit to you, Stephen, that we should have that on our next agenda, if at all possible.
Thanks. That's all I got, though.
Thank you. Commissioner Patrick.
Hey. I was supposed to get a new hip on January 31. I came down with flu-like symptoms on the Friday prior, so I will get more bionic parts on March 28th. And it turned out to be serendipitous in that I hadn't had a break in a long time and nobody was looking for me, so I still had fished until I didn't know what day it was. Very therapeutic. I highly recommend it for anybody that likes it. The meeting today with Larry and Commissioner Newman was like watching a professional international ping pong game. These guys went back and forth on dredging, and I mean, they were lighting it up. All the array of like what we need to do going forward is in the planning realm that Larry Otker has laid out for us. But it's time for us to revisit this because we have a move on the dredge. There's other technology. We're studying the long fence smelt. Oh my goodness, how long have I been here? How long have we been in gridlock? So I have recommended that we pick this back up as a workshop so that we not only come back up to speed as a commission and get action on this as soon as we possibly can, but also get over some of these long-term humps and look at the long-term vision of like, how is this going to work in 2050? What's gas going to cost? How can we make accommodations as a community to go forward with the least cost, least energy intensive, and routinely feasible without these constant like giant impediments? And it's just hasn't been working, but I look forward to us breaking gridlock, winning goodwill, and implementing dredging in line with the vision of our executive director. And Commissioner Newman, welcome back, man. I mean, it's just like, things inside and out. And so I'm looking forward to serving with you on that committee further, but also to you helping Larry bring the resolution of this issue back to our board so we can get it done.
Thanks, Patrick. Commissioner Marks.
Yeah, I actually had the opportunity to see the Board of Supervisors meeting where Rob Holman spoke, and so he's been jumping in the Harbor District feet first. That's good to see. I was watching a meeting with the Humboldt Bay Municipal Water District today, and they're talking about the different projects that they have that link with the Harbor District. Is one of them is the Nordic Farms project. But today they did take an action where they're going to have a water line split off to go to Trinidad to Cherry Heights Casino. We also, I met with Jim Wood and got updates with what's going on with the Harbor District. So our assemblyman knew what exactly was happening on the peninsula. And of course, I met with a few contractors over potential wind energy projects that's being fast tracked and looks like it's going to be a reality. So that's it for my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Marks. Commissioner Newman, and before you start, I'm curious as how your name, your name is Commissioner Newman, and the rest of us all have our real names on there. You're muted too, by the way, pal.
Lower left, Aaron. Lower left. Says mute. Got a microphone symbol.
Chris, could you go help Aaron?
So there's a little video camera. It says stop video. And then there's something that says mute.
He knows how
Lower
to do
left.
it.
He's used to working on a phone. This is a computer.
A flip phone, by the way.
No, I'm getting better. Another 10 years, I should have this down. The dredge meeting this morning was, I hate to say it, a lot of the same old stuff, but exciting that there's some movement and some new ideas. It was great to talk about it again. A lot of deja vu. Yeah, it's still not fun. And along those lines, I just want to make a statement for the fleet. You know, the difficulties with grounding a vessel. You end up having to use power in close quarters to try to get your vessel to do what you want it to do. And when you add power to a tight situation, you create opportunities for disaster. And every day it's getting worse, especially with these tides and whatnot. I've been hung up half a dozen times this crab season, and basically without good steerage had to power through to get to where I needed to go. And it's just dangerous. We need to get this fixed. I got to do some fireboat training on Tuesday evening. It's good to get some more of that in. It's that fireboat, you got to stay up on it or it's a little hard to remember how to make it do what it's supposed to do. Sorry I was late tonight. I had an emergency dental appointment, and I have pieces of a wisdom tooth that couldn't be extracted, and I'm getting to go see an oral surgeon. So he said to make sure I took my pain pills before it wore off, so we can't have too long of a meeting, Mr. Chairman. So anyway, that's my report.
Thank you, Commissioner Newman. So I'm an expert in wisdom tooth extraction. I'll swing by tonight and take care of that for you. So we've had a busy couple of months, and we are Richard and I and Larry and the committee, the Wind Energy Committee, which really is about the dock, has spent quite a bit of time looking at different plans, talking to people, and I do think we are at a stage where things are getting pretty serious, and we are going to need some help, and so we've got some of those things on our agenda. I want to thank Patrick for bringing up an important issue last meeting. And we had a meeting about that. We sat down with Patrick and with an applicant and went through the concerns, and I think, you know, we agreed to agree and on certain things and agreed to disagree on certain things, but ultimately it was a professional and good exchange of ideas, and I thought it was wonderful, and I appreciate that, Patrick. And that's really all I have for tonight. So Larry, any correspondence that we need to know about?
No, there was no major correspondence that we received.
Nobody wants to send us a letter?
I didn't say nobody sent us a letter, just there was nothing significant.
Okay, okay. So moving on to item 10, unfinished business. I see that we have no unfinished business. And moving to 11, new business. 11A is consider adopting resolution 2022-01, a resolution designating business matters, appointment and authorization to the Humboldt Bay Harbor Recreation Conservation District for the calendar year 2022.
Yes, so staff would recommend that you adopt resolution 2022-01. And basically what this is this is all of the general business matters where we do our legal notices, where we do our banking, what our spending limits are, what has to go to the board, these kinds of things. We review this each year, and then we ask the board to update that. And this is really administratively how we take those actions. In addition, this is formally reappointing the district engineer, the district planner, the district treasurer, Mark Witzel. And the one major change from last year is that we have a new bank. And so included in this list, we switched from where one of our banks that we have over to another bank. Everything else stayed pretty much the same. And so with that, staff would recommend that you would approve resolution 2022-01.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? I guess, Larry, you have to roll call us.
Yes,
Yeah.
Commissioner.
Go to the
It's got
public.
to go to the
still, too.
public as well.
My apologies. New guy. Does anybody from the public wish to comment on item 11A? Please raise your hand or speak up. I see none. I'll bring it back to the board. We have a motion and a second. Larry?
Commissioner Newman,
Muted.
Yes.
There we go.
Commissioner Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Higgins,
Oh, yeah.
and President Dale.
Yes. Moving on, 11B, accept the audit report for 2020 and 2021 fiscal year and extend the audit contract with Harshwall and Company.
So again, is that we have a clean audit. There's no significant issues that were included in there. With the one item that, you should consider reviewing at your leisure is that at the board's direction, every year there's an accounting of the dredge surcharge funds as well as the float replacement funds. And so there's a specific note in this agreement that outlines that. I also want to make sure that, there's going to be some significant things that are going to be coming due this year, namely the new market tax credit agreement, which is in March of 2023, and the next fiscal year that's going to be coming up, where that will be paid in full, which is really the improvements that we did on the old pulp mill, and will be paid in full. Anyway, with that, staff would recommend that you accept the audit and then award the contract for next year's audit.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do I have any comment from the public?
I'll just say black ink is great.
Black ink is great. It feels good sometimes. Commissioners, I didn't have any comments from the commissioners. Any comments from the public? Seeing none. Larry?
Commissioner Higgins,
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Newman,
Yes.
and President Dale.
Yes.
And even
Moving
though
on.
Greg was too quick there on comments, I still want to say good job on keeping this ship going in the right direction. Fiscally
Yeah,
wise.
Mindy Hiley, our Director of Administrative Services, and Mark Witzel, they really do an amazing job, and they deserve a lot of credit for this because I can tell you the auditors really went through our books with a fine tooth comb. And so it took a lot of energy, as everybody that knows that when you go through an audit. The one thing is as we're starting to get this additional money next year, the 10.4 million, as we're getting more money on the terminal, we're really tightening up our books to make sure that we have a good accounting and good auditing, because as you get these grant funds, bookkeeping and accounting and all of those things are just absolutely critical to make sure that we stay on the straight and narrow. So Mindy and Mark deserve a lot of credit.
Well said. Item 11C, consider introducing amendment number 4 to ordinance number 10, an amendment to ordinance 10 of the Humboldt Bay Harbor Recreation and Conservation District, amending and adjusting the boundaries of election divisions of the Humboldt Bay Harbor Recreation and Conservation District.
Ryan, can I possibly turn this one over to you? I apologize for putting you on the spot.
Yeah, absolutely. So following each federal 10-year census, the Harbors and Navigation Code requires the district to set boundaries. The standard is the boundaries should be set so that they are equal in population as best as can be accomplished. What the district has done for the last 2 or 3 10-year census cycles is allow the Board of Supervisors to go through their pretty exhaustive process and then set the boundaries as determined by the Board of Supervisors. And this ordinance keeps that pattern. As you're aware, the Board of Supervisors slightly redrew some of their districts without much material change, and they're in the process of preparing those legal descriptions. This ordinance adopts election districts, commissioner districts that are to mirror what the Board of Supervisors has done. And that's the entire purpose of this ordinance, and we won't need to revisit it again for another 10-year period.
So move.
A motion, do I have a second?
I'll second this for discussion, but I also have an inquiry.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Richard, you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know if this affected Commissioner Coleman's status of where he lives as far as the district.
No, as far as I know, the maps adopted by the supervisors made very little change, and so Blue Lake remains in the 3rd district.
That's correct.
Any other comments from the commissioners? I'll bring it to the public. Any comments from the public? Seeing none, I'll bring it back for a vote. Larry?
And
Commissioner Higgins.
just before,
Yeah.
one
ahead.
sec, Larry, before you do the vote, because this is an ordinance and it's being done by title only, the actual title of the ordinance needs to be read into the record before the vote's taken.
Okay.
I'm happy to do that just before, Larry, you call the roll. So this is amendment number 4 to ordinance number 10, an amendment to ordinance number 10 of the Humboldt Bay Harbor Recreation and Conservation District, amending and adjusting the boundaries of the election divisions of the Humboldt Bay Harbor Recreation and Conservation District. Go ahead, Larry.
Thank you,
Commissioner
Ryan.
Higgins,
I'm still yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Newman,
Yes.
and President Dale.
Yes. So, you know what's kind of nice about being the chair is that I don't have to hit the mute button on and off like I do when I'm not the chair. I think maybe Aaron should try that. Item number 11D, consider approval of amendment number 1 to the Tulawat Island Wetland Mitigation Project agreement with Caltrans.
Yes, so I'd like to give a brief staff report on this. First and foremost, I really want to thank Caltrans for working with us. I think they've been an excellent partner, and they spent a lot of time and energy on that. And I just really want to thank Caltrans. I also want to thank RCAA and the Weat tribe as a partnership of all of us working together to try to eradicate Spartina on Tulawat Island. This is a major project for Humboldt Bay. This will be the largest Spartina eradication project that we've seen. And this, coupled with some of the other work that is seen on Humboldt Bay, we hope will really start to turn the tide of this invasive species, Spartina. And really want to thank Caltrans for picking this project and all their other projects that they're doing around the bay for mitigation projects that are associated with a lot of the projects that goes on. This mitigation, just so that everyone knows, is really associated with the Highway 101 project that is going on and the rail trail project, that kind of a portion of it that went through the city of Arcata. And so this is kind of part of the mitigation of those. And so as part of this agreement, Caltrans would provide up to $6,734,000, and then approximately 13% of the agreement would go up to the Harbor District, and that could be as much as $774,000 over the next approximately 7 years. And as was mentioned, the Harbor District is we're slated to hire a new natural resource coordinator position, and these funds will partially be able to assist us to hire that position over the course of the next few years, not in its entirety, but it's a big help to really get our conservation programs back online. And so again, we really want to thank the Caltrans, because conservation is a major portion of what the Harbor District has done in the past, and that what we want to do in the future. We're going to get an initial payment of approximately $1,327,000 that will really help with the cash flow of this major contract to get this thing going. And we're really excited, not only because this is on Tulawat Island, but also because the Weat tribe is going to do the tribal monitoring component of this, and that there'll be they'll have paid staff that will assist with the tribal monitoring up to $230,000. And then the contract with the Redwood Community Action Agency would be up to $5,728,000. This is a lot of money that's going to be circulated in the community and really directly benefiting our community and the natural resource and the conservation efforts. There's been a lot of work in this, and if you can't tell, we're really excited with this partnership that we have with Caltrans and RCAA. And so with that, I know that there's a couple people from Caltrans that are here. I don't know if anybody from the Weat tribe or RCAA is here as well. But staff would definitely recommend that you approve this agreement so we can really get started on this project.
Thanks, Larry. Can we go back to the non-shared screen so we can see people? So we had comments from commissioners. Do we have anybody from the public who would like to comment on this?
I think this is fantastic. I think this is fantastic, Greg. So I couldn't be more pleased with this turn of events.
I share your enthusiasm, Patrick. Spartina is something that, I mean, it could change on us in a second. It's been bad enough, but it could get worse. Anybody wish to speak on this item? I'd love to hear somebody talk about it.
I can chime in and say something. Hello,
Thanks,
commissioners. My name's Tim Nelson. I'm actually from Caltrans, and my colleague and my supervisor, Brandon Larson, is here as well. So he can say something next if he wants to as well. we also are very excited about this project. Thanks to your staff, Larry and Ryan, Adam in the past, and others that will join, I'm sure. We're really excited to get this project going. And it's great to have a partner in the Harbor District that will assist us in this matter, and then potentially other future mitigation projects that come along as well. You know, we just want to be a great partner with you all. We're locally in the same boat with you all. So hopefully this can turn into a good future partnership down the line.
And I'm Brandon Larson, the North Region Environmental Office Chief out of the Eureka office here. And I just want to second what Tim said. I just really appreciate the partnership we have with the Harbor District. And the way we're looking at this is just the start. This is something that we can attack full on. We can get Tulawat Island done. We can get this remediated. And like I said, this is the start. We've got future projects coming to Humboldt Bay, and I'd like to see Spartina completely eradicated from Humboldt Bay, and we'll do everything we can to get that done. So I really appreciate the support.
Thanks, Tim and Brandon. I really appreciate that. Another entity that needs to be commended is RCAA. I mean, they're the specialists at this. Any other comments from the public? Seeing none.
I'll go ahead and comment though there, Greg. Just I want to thank everybody also for partnering to be able to get this done. I mean, Tim and I were a part of doing the first treatment on the island back, I don't know how many years ago that was now, with RCAA, and they did a great job on it. And so it's really great seeing that this is able to continue and come further to treat the rest of the island. And just, following on the city of Eureka returning so much of the property on the island back to the tribe, and then the tribe being able to leverage this to take care of the natural resources on it is really heartening to see. So thank you everybody for that.
Thanks, Stephen. Any other comments before we take this to a vote?
I'd like
So
to
I
make
have
a
motion
comment
second,
on it.
Larry?
Richard,
Oh, Richard?
Yeah, I was going to make a comment. I've been on the Harbor District for quite a while now, and I've always made my comments. I'll be really glad we never have to talk about Spartina eradication ever again. Hopefully this will lead us in that direction. So we'll get to that point where I'll never have to hear that brought up again. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. That you've been on here longer than I've been alive. But I'm here to tell you that we will never, ever stop talking about Spartina eradication if we are truly going to eradicate it, because it's going to take constant vigilance to get rid of it. And that's where Caltrans comes into it, and I think RCAA comes into it. We've got committed people that know how to do it, know what to do, and are watching it. So, and it could all turn around very quickly with climate change. So it is kind of fun. It's fun to watch, and it's fun to see people come forward to help solve some of these situations that we have around the bay. Anyways, I'll get off my soapbox. Larry, take it away.
To my knowledge, we haven't had a motion or a second yet.
Oh, I thought we
I
had a
thought I
motion.
moved. I'll move
Matt and
again.
Stephen.
Yeah, we're in a rut
Oh, the
tonight.
same. Okay, so
I
Pat gets the motion. I'll take the second.
apologize. There we go. So Commissioner Higgins,
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Newman,
Yes.
and President Dale.
Yes. So item 11E, consider adding a commercial fishing subcommittee and volunteer fireboat board liaison. Is that one motion, or is that two separate motions?
You could do it as one motion, or you could do it as two motion. And so what we'd like, at your last meeting, you reviewed the list of commissioners and, subcommittees. And so after that time, we came in, and as was mentioned in Commissioner Newman's staff report, he's he's really an important member of the team. We need people that have licenses and the dedication that Commissioner Newman has. And so because he's now a commissioner, we really wanted to formalize that relationship. And so really staff is recommending that you appoint Commissioner Newman as the liaison to the fireboat captain program. And I just wanted to bring this up because this may be a new thing, but I mean, we used to do this all the time when I was in Arcata, is that the board could appoint to a specific group, then one person could just talk to them directly. And so my recommendation would be to assign Aaron to that fisherman's, to be the fireboat liaison. And then because we have a lot of issues, a lot of projects that directly affect fishermen, was talking to Commissioner Newman, and he recommended that we consider having a commercial fisherman subcommittee so that we really could start to look at this issue. And so wanted to bring that up and to see, does the board want to have a commercial fisherman subcommittee? And then really to see if there are any other changes that the board might want to have. I know there's, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Pat, but you had mentioned this morning that maybe you might want to get off of the dredge subcommittee, but we'd love to have you if you want to be there. And so there's really is the opportunity to look at any subcommittees that if you wanted to make a change or any other things as well. So with that, I'm just going to throw it over to the commission, and this will be at your pleasure.
And this is where you get to exercise your power, Greg, because you can just go ahead and appoint subcommittees without us
And
voting on it or
liaisons
making
as
a
well.
motion.
I get to appoint liaisons as well.
I think so.
Think so.
I'm not sure about liaisons, but sure, why not?
Yeah,
So
you can
my
do that.
first question is, a liaison to a fireboat would need to have a mustache. So I think that's part of the requirement. I'm
So
looking
are you saying
around,
that Richard should be the liaison?
but he doesn't know how to drive a boat. So that puts him out. So I guess we're back to Aaron. Aaron, I'd like to appoint you as the liaison to the volunteer fireboat board. Would you accept that?
I gladly accept.
And you'll grow your mustache out now.
I'll grow a mustache and you're gonna come learn how to be a captain too.
Yeah, okay. I just know how to yell and scream like a captain. I don't really know how to drive anything.
Hang around Leroy a little while, you'll figure it out.
Yeah, at least he'll tell me how to figure it out. So so we've covered that. Patrick has a question.
Yeah, Aaron, speak to this committee and who would it sit on? Who would sit on it, and like what would it deliberate?
Well, what I understand with the subcommittee, talking to our executive director, Larry, it's got a lot of brevity. We're able to talk to the association, maybe have them invite non-association members and have some direct interaction with the fishermen to make sure that we're trying to facilitate their needs and keeping them in mind as one of the members of the commercial fishing fleet. And president of the marketing association for the local fleet for over a decade. One of the biggest problems we've had is just misinformation between what's going on at the district and what's the understanding of the local fishing fleet. And in order to subvert that and hopefully make a more even flow and more of a partnership with the fishing industry and avoid any animosities. And it's not just the fishermen, it's also the processors and some of their concerns with our projects. I mean, there's never been more going on between the fishing fleet and the harbor district than there is right now. Wind energy, fish farm, the dredging issue. I just think it'd be very helpful to have a forum where we could inform and work out some of our difficulties without trying to do it in a public meeting setting. So that's
Would you like to come back to us, or get another commissioner to work with you here and formulate this committee, and for us to then kind of say we bless it, or do you want us to form this committee now and then you kind of formulate its makeup?
I think, in talking to Larry, sorry, Larry, if you need to make a comment, I'll wait for you.
No, I was just going to say is that these subcommittees, we're not asking to appoint anybody else to it. It really, it's kind of like the offshore wind subcommittee is the subcommittee meets and then they meet with a variety of groups. So all of the other subcommittees that we have are just 2 members of the board. So the subcommittee in its entirety would be 2 members of the board. And then that subcommittee of the board could then meet with any of the organizations or people that they need to in order to fulfill their mission.
That's my understanding, and I think we can, there's so much interest. I've talked to probably a dozen commercial fishermen and people from all 3 of the local processors, and they're very interested and they'd like to see this become a relationship builder between the district and the fleet. So.
Thank you for taking
I think this is a
initiative.
very good idea, and I would be in favor of going ahead and forming this subcommittee right now with Commissioner Newman on it.
Want to make a move?
Again, it's up to Greg. I don't think this needs a motion.
I'm all over it. I'm looking for a second person that would participate with, I'm assuming Commissioner Newman would like to be on this subcommittee. Is there a second person?
I'm like oil and water with the commercial fishing community. You don't want me. I would cause more confusion than create clarity. I mean,
Well, I don't think that's true, Patrick, but, so Stephen or Richard, would you consider being on this committee?
I'd consider it if nobody else wants to.
I would love it if you would, Stephen. I think you're a good voice for the district and for a variety of people. So Aaron and Stephen would be our new commercial fishing subcommittee. That's our newest committee.
We didn't
That
have,
works for everybody?
Yep.
We don't need a motion. I just did it by official decree. All right. Thank you, Mr. Newman. That was awesome.
that's called a fiat.
A
My
fiat. Fix it again, Tony.
Just for clarification though, were there 2 separate subcommittees? Is there oh no, he's a volunteer fireboat liaison, so that's not a committee, huh?
I appointed him as liaison. And
Okay,
then we created a subcommittee, a new subcommittee that we've never had before, that we probably should have had decades ago.
okay, I understand now.
Very, very well. Very, very nice. Thanks, Aaron. So that concludes all of our new business, and we're moving on to future agenda items. I have an item 12A is the Green Diamond Shared Services Agreement. That's a potential future agenda item. I'd also, Larry, would like to see our ordinance. I know you've been working on this, but it'd be nice to get this on the next agenda. Our ordinance regarding the coal train. I know we've talked about it a ton, and it's gone round and round. I think we have it. We just need to get it on the agenda and be done.
I agree.
Please,
I would just like to clarify that the ordinance would be about coal exports on the bay and have nothing to do with a train per se.
Or use of our property is my understanding, Stephen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. Just wanted to be clear about it.
Okay.
In the next 3 meetings, I'd like to see us take up dredging as a kind of, where are we going now? Because we have an urgent situation and we have a lot of different things at play. And so as things come into more clear view here in terms of what options we should play, then it has to come back to the board. And I would think that we wouldn't want to delay more than out to the second or third meeting from now.
Okay, I don't disagree, Patrick. And Larry, I'd like to include in that the status of our own dredge and where we're at with that and
Yeah, that's
potential.
right. It's right in the middle of this. Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting. Exciting.
Okay, so you have your a little list.
Mhm.
Anything else for the good of the order? been a joy, you guys. I really enjoyed.
Thank
my
goodness I
evening.
could get off of Long Fence Smelt.
Not yet, not yet. You're not done yet, Pat, but
No,
we'll
but
get
we'll
there.
have data. That'll change the discussion. Thank you, Greg. You do a great job as chair.
Can I have a motion to adjourn?
My motion is adjourned.
Second,
I second, third, and fourth that.
Larry? Thank you very much for your service. Mindy? Is Mindy still on here? Thank you, Mindy, for all the work you do silently in the background, because you're a stud.
Thank you,
I hope
Greg.
she can-
You have to look at the comment. She's got stuff in there sometimes.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good week and a good month, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Night.
Hey.